Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Cronkite Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetria K, and I am the five-star general. There's a fallout from Thursday when we testified in the state capitol. They got the goons on the loose now. But I tell you what, big homie, I don't know about the rest, but I'm ready. We're going to talk about it tonight, that along with some other things. Let's get to it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. You know, without you guys, we wouldn't have a show, so it's an honor to be able to sit here and talk to you every single night. And I say on behalf of all three of us, Donovan and Demetria, because you could be doing anything else besides sitting here talking to us. I'm going to start it off with the news, man. You little young rappers running your mouth, going to jail, and still running your mouth. When you get out there, them goons is real in the street. Kodak Black got lucky today because in Tallahassee, Florida, they unloaded on him at a McDonald's. Say, man, you just got out of jail. You need to sit down somewhere, homie. You need to sit down somewhere. You know, they left the hotel, went to the McDonald's. They blocked off the drive-thru. They saw a car following them when they left the hotel, so they shook the car. But when they get to the McDonald's, the car mysteriously reappears. One of his security guys got hit in the leg, but Kodak got out. They got him into an armored vehicle, and they got him out. So I salute you, Kodak, but you're running out of lives, homie. What's going on, Donovan?
Well, you know, again, it's the start of the week. Welcome to the War Zone. It is Monday. Our special guest today is Houston's own Demetria Smith. We want to welcome her to the show. And of course, we have our Demetria K, who's always rolling with us deep and hard. But in the news, real quick, if you guys have been, it's week 2 in the Chauvin case. We'll talk about a little bit about it real quick. But that doctor, that ER doctor, brand new, just was finishing his residency. So that means he understood the books. He understood the basics. I mean, he was coming out of their book smart. And as we know, those of us that have been in a field for an extended amount of time, we don't exactly remember what we were taught in grade school. You know the fundamentals, you know the basics, but you don't remember the rules of it. This guy was a very compelling witness, and he was just putting it out there like boom, boom, boom. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And so we got to talk about that. And then, of course, again, it's almost 100 days in the Biden administration. Every single group that had something to gain to get this man elected has gotten something out of the deal, except one group, the very group that put him into office, and that's Black folks. We're coming up on 100 days. Joe Biden is not even talking about what he needs to do now for Black people. He's talking about infrastructure. He's talking about hanging with his Republican homies in the Senate and, bipartisan and working with them and trying to bring them on board. He's not talking about debt relief. He's not talking about any of that, which could help a lot of people. And of course, as you guys know, they are still trying to peddle that Black people are running around beating up Asians. So if they're going to have Stop the Asian Hate, can we please have Stop the Black Hate? It's been going on for 400 years. Demetria K?
What up, everybody? So welcome to Monday night's edition of the War Zone. And again, welcome to Demetria Smith. She is going to sit in with us and discuss with Gary what happened at the Capitol in Austin last week. And if you guys can do us a favor, if you can please share this live so that everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation, we greatly appreciate it. So I want to give you guys just a really quick rundown of the Derek Chauvin murder trial because Gary is out there in Minneapolis covering what's going on. And so today was day 6 of the trial. They called forth, I think it was 3 witnesses. One, as Donovan said, was the ER doctor, and he pretty much confirmed that George died of asphyxiation. He said that he didn't see, per his medical training, that drugs were involved. He said it from the time that he left the scene to the time that they finished with him, it was 60 minutes, 30 minutes with the paramedics trying to work on him, and then 30 more minutes with them in the ER trying to work on him. But he was pretty much gone. Also, they had Chief Arredondo. That's his name, Chief Arredondo. He is actually the chief of Minneapolis, and he has been there for 3 years. He is also, or he was, Derek Chauvin and the other 3 officers' boss. He fired them the next day, once after the murder took place. And in June, he wrote a letter saying that it was murder. Nothing more, nothing less. They were not trained to do that. It was murder. So he took the stand today, and he says nothing in their training at all would tell them to do that. They were absolutely wrong for doing what they did to Derek. And then another, she was a police trainer, Katie Blackwell. She also testified that she worked with Derek Chauvin in the early 2000s, and that she know that he went to 2 trainings within the last 3 years of use of force training, and that he was never trained to do what he did. And so some would say it's damning testimony, but again, don't let your memory fail you, in that police officers are rarely found guilty for murdering Black people. So, Gary?
I had to put my uniform on because ever since we went to the Capitol, the local politicians and call the goons out. Aubrey Taylor, who reports bipartisan, I must say that. He reports from the Democratic side as well as from the Republican side. And they've threatened his business. Demetria Smith, a sitting election judge, made a comment, and that, she was like fleas on a dog. And I actually had a text that she sent to somebody that proves that she said it. And I'll put it up in a minute. But the thing is I put my uniform on. I got my first official threat today. So I'm going to talk directly to the Congress lady. Don't you never have one of your goons, your main goon from the Northeast side, call my phone no more. Because I ain't doing no talking. I ain't doing no boxing. I ain't doing none of that. Don't threaten me. Don't talk to me. You didn't want to talk to me about my community. It is what it is. So we go up to Austin and we testify. And we tell the truth about voter fraud in the state of Texas. And now today, the mayor has a big press conference where he got everybody there, the pastors, the ACLU, the Asian or whatever the community group, and all this, even the LGBTQ community. I don't remember nothing in the bill that discriminated against the LGBT community. But all this is about voter suppression. Voter suppression, huh? You telling me that you got a problem with somebody having an ID to vote? You got a problem with all this stuff, but you won't answer the fact that every last one of y'all on that stage use the same ballot harvesters. You use the same ones. You won't acknowledge that. You won't admit that Tasha Jackson standing on that stage is the poster girl for election fraud. Shouldn't be sitting in the seat. But because some Black people don't support what's out there, oh, we public enemy number 1. Well, I rock by myself anyway. I know Demetria from Facebook. I know Aubrey from Facebook. But me and my team, I rocks by myself. Demetria, you ever seen a couple of my teammates? You ever seen a couple of them? I don't think Demetria ever really, let me break this down for y'all, man. Let me break this down for y'all. I'm very well insulated. I'm insulated. So I'm just letting you know. You better go back in your blue collar corner and play with them election people and them people that you normally scare. You can't affect my money. You can't do nothing to me. My question is, if it's really about voter suppression, why y'all doing all this underhanded shit right now? Huh? So Demetria Schmidt came on the show because you had a sitting election judge say Demetria is like fleas on a dog. What you mean by that, lady? What you mean by that? All you people especially in Harris County, and I'm not going to speak for the country, that have a problem with voting laws changing, that's because you benefit from all the cheating that you did. You benefited from it. And I will say this here, because Demetria and Donovan, you probably know without even knowing. It's a whole lot of people sick and tired of y'all with the cheating, man. They just ain't in a position to say something. They can't say something. Some of them work for y'all. Yeah, some of your people that work for you sick and tired of you cheating. Some regular citizens are just sick and tired of it. But you're going to have to do more to convince me, because I don't want to take no picture with you, and I don't need one of them fucking proclamations you give out. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. How you doing tonight, Demetria? There you go. How you doing tonight?
Okay. I'm feeling awesome tonight. Thank you for asking. Thank y'all for inviting me on the show.
What enticed you? Yeah, what enticed you to go down to Austin and speak in front of the committee on election fraud last Thursday? What made you do it?
I was tired of the narrative flipped over narrative. I was sick and tired of hearing what they did to the bill. I seen the intent of the bill, and I seen the Democrats change the narrative to Jim Crow, and I did a little history on Jim Crow, and Jim Crow was initiated by the Democrats, by Woodrow Wilson, the 28th president of the United States of America. He started this Jim Crow. So if they want to talk about Jim Crow, they need to talk about the history of Jim Crow. They are the party of Jim Crow. So for them to flip it over on a Republican Party and play on Black people emotions, at least that's what they call us, Black people emotions, to rev them up to get them all the way to the primaries, they're going to piss them off to the primaries by feeding them these Jim Crow lies when they are the real Jim Crow. It started with the Democrats. So my job was to go to the Capitol, not knowing you was going to be there, really. My job was to go to the Capitol to change the narrative to the real intent, and that's election integrity. Because you've been a victim of election fraud. You know, your race taken, my race was taken. There's a lot of other candidates' race have been taken too. So other candidates ought to be happy about this bill if they actually read into this bill, and they'll see it's not even targeting voters. It's really targeting election workers if they really see that. So I'm gonna stop there. If you have any other questions, I don't want to be long-winded.
Well, I tell you what, I wasn't going to, but it eventually came out in the article that Aubrey wrote. Let me put this screen up so that you can see. You have a sitting election judge who was on a text thread, and you know the person above said, in behind the scenes photo, I'm briefing a few members of the elections committee at the state capitol. Demetria Smith is pictured standing with Chairman Briscoe Kane in the same private meeting. This sitting election judge, this sitting also what's the other type of judge it is? The she's an election judge as well as
the precinct.
Yeah, she's an election judge as well as a
presiding judges too.
She's a precinct chair.
Yeah.
All right. And her response was, God no, she is like a fleet on dogs. You got any comment about that?
Well, I'm not a dog, I'm not a flea, but for her to come out and say something such as pathetic as that, yeah, I like to meet her in person, you know, and I said that, you know, I'll make myself available to her, you know, whenever she like to meet me. And to sit down, we can have a cup of coffee, a frappuccino, anything. Let's talk about it. You know, I definitely want to hear her thoughts on what she feel like, you know, I'm annoying. Am I annoying for office so many times? Am I annoying for keep speaking up? You know, I mean, what am I annoying for? I mean, they tired of seeing me. Who else feel this way? So I like to pick her brain some more and sit down and talk to her.
Donovan?
Well, let me ask you this, you know, because I understand. I was at the VA all day getting handled over there, but Let me ask you in regards to your testimony at the Capitol last week. I know you probably said a lot of stuff, but were they receptive to anything that you were saying? Because sometimes when you go, and I've gone and talked to, groups and city council members, you got people up there on their cell phone. They're not even interested in what you're saying, basically. So were they receptive to anything that you were saying?
So they was behind me, but I can tell you when I turned around, it was overwhelmed. I was over. Well, I thought I was going to a ritual or something. I thought I was going to jail. I don't know. They kind of held me off. I couldn't even, grab my purse. I asked them, "Are y'all setting me up?" They were like, "No." They started laughing because it was very overwhelming. I had to high five some people. Like I was singers coming up stage. It was very open. So people actually received me well, and I did not expect any of that whatsoever. So very overwhelming response. I put like this here, I picked up a lot of supporters and did not expect it, but it happened.
And just a quick follow-up with that, do you think that with the events that have happened today and, maybe, some people, you've ran for mayor before and, you're a big vocal voice down there in Houston. Do you think that this is their way of trying to pigeonhole you and basically put you out of politics by making an issue of something and, kind of putting the spotlight on you to make you look bad?
With this testimony? You mean?
Yeah, well, with the testimony and with what's, as it's come on to this week by making it an issue to make it seem like you're the one that is, a problem in Houston politics.
Yeah, well, the two-part answer to that. I think what they saw with the testimony that because Gary Monroe, myself, Aubrey Taylor, HB 6 is coming out of the committee, and that's what one of the lawmakers said before I left Capitol. And because he agreed, this bill is coming out the committee. So that bill is moving on to the floor, on April 22nd for a vote. Had it not been for our voice and the evidence that Gary showed and names dropped, I don't think that bill probably would have made it out of that committee. Probably would sit there for a little while. I think the Democrats saw that. And when they saw that, I think Sheila saw it, Sylvester Turner, I think all of them saw that. When they saw that bill actually was moving in the right direction, they had to call their whole squad, that they did today, like they did today in a press conference to make sure they stopped that. Call all these corporations to come out and speak against the bill and still labeling it as Jim Crow. And nobody's saying specifically what is Jim Crowish about the bill. So no, it's going in the right direction, but because of us three, they're going to try to do everything to stop. But I am annoying to a lot of those people, in politics. I don't know why she ran so many times. A whole lot of candidates ran so many times. So why I got to be the flea, So I don't know what's the difference. So that's a problem, but I think it's my speaking like truth to power, and I don't back down, period. And politicians like Gary, he don't down. I'm a female version. I do not back down. And I think they have a major problem with that.
Anyone? Pass the mic.
Oh, I didn't know if somebody else wanted to talk. Okay, so I'm a little confused here. So how did okay? Mm-hmm. So if I'm understanding, the dog in the fleet comment was made on somebody's text. Now, did anybody get any? Not that it's right that she called you that, but did anybody give any background? I mean, why is she saying that? Like, what's the deal? Because right now we just see a text message, and last thing I knew or heard, text messages are private. So. I mean, I guess I'm confused as to how and why that would come out. And so does anybody have any background on that at all?
Well, I can tell you that text messages are private and it's not illegal for somebody to share your texts as long as you're not sexting. As long as it's not sexually related, you can share it. Now, as far as there's some background, maybe Demetria knew her, maybe she didn't know her. I'm pretty sure Demetria doesn't even know her. So the question would be from Gary Monroe to any one of those out there, why would you make this comment? Why are you so upset because somebody exercised their constitutional right? They know why they upset. They know what they've been doing. Common knowledge.
I just want to say this, and then I'm going to say it again. It's wrong to call people out of their names and stuff, but I think the onus really should be on the person releasing the text, because if that person really cared about Demetria and anything that you guys are doing at the Capitol, they would not have thrown that red herring in there by putting that text message out. Like, what was the need to do that? So whoever sent that text has an axe to grind, and they're just using you guys to do it. And here we are about to have a whole conversation about unseating a judge over a text message that she made in private. So I think the issue is with the person who sent the text. Now, because this is a distraction. We're talking about dogs on fleas, and we're not even talking about the voter suppression bill that's, or lack thereof, that's taking place there at the Capitol.
I like to say what you're saying. I'm glad to find out. I'm glad to. I want to comment to what she said about the release.
Go ahead.
I think it's important, and the reason why I think it's important, I don't care who released it, but I'm glad to find out about it because the comments made towards me, and it's about me behind closed. I'm glad it was publicly made, so I'm glad I saw it. And it's because I've been a candidate, and I've been a candidate so several times. And if you have an election judge who runs a whole election precinct is making comments or feel this way about me, what does she do with my votes? She can influence the votes doors, and so that's become problematic to me. So I want to do an open record request from her precinct. In any race that I ever ran into, I want to look at those records when she presided and see what happened. So yes, it's a big thing to me. So I'm glad whoever brought it out, because if I ever run again and she's a precinct chair, and she also is election judge, and she sees my name, it's easy to flip votes around to any candidate. It's easy to move those around. So I think it's very concerning, and I think it's a big problem. I think it should have been said.
Is that why the person released the Is that
yes, from my understanding, yes. I didn't even know. To my understanding, yes. I didn't even know that it was out there until I saw it today. And I'm like, whoa, I'm saying the same thing. She's an election judge. This is not personal. She is an election judge. So if you feel that way about a candidate, you're going to make sure that candidate lose that precinct. It's very easy to pay a judge off like her who feel that way. I don't even know the young lady, never seen the young lady, never spoke to the young lady. Why is it being said about me?
And so that's what I want to know. That's why I'm asking you, because did she make the unfortunate remark due to what happened at the Capitol, or did she make the remark to suppress your campaign? See, those are the things I think we need to know.
So whether it's a remark of the Capitol or the campaign, the remark was made of how she felt about me, like totality. That's how she felt about me, period. So again, if they ever see me on the ballot and she's running that precinct, that's going to be problematic. So that's reasonable for me as a candidate, if I ever become one, to, look at, my votes going to a precinct that this judge feel like I'm a freaking flea on a dog. No, I just think she needs to step down. She needs to, be unseated. It's not personal. It's political, and if she upset about the remarks I made at the Capitol, I didn't do anything wrong in those remarks. Out the Democrat, and she part of that party, then she needs homework, and she needs to read that bill, because I spoke for the whole state of Texas, not for just Demetria Smith. I have a whole lot of things I can be doing at home, but I'm wasting gas going to the Capitol, sitting 12 hours, 13 hours to speak for 3 minutes. There's so much more that I can be doing, but I care so much about what's going on in the election and future elections for other candidates, anybody else, So I had to speak because I'm tired of the narrative that's been actually, changed by the Democrats. So I think it was very important that we needed to know where it's coming from. She even, speaking of that, Demetria, she even said something on a YouTube video. This is my second time seeing her name. So even in the comments in the YouTube, she put the emoji clowns on there. She was, so of course I didn't comment. And then she said that I'm mad because I ran for governor and didn't get no support. And that's the same young lady. So she's starting something on a YouTube video, and now she coming over here, texting somebody. So obviously she feels wrong. And this or feel some kind of way about me in my past candidacy or what I'm doing now, and I've never met her. So the question is, why am I a problem if I never met you, never spoke to you?
I'll go. The hardest thing for me is when I win my race, I'm not going to be able to say everything I want to say because then I'll be a politician. They don't get to say everything they want to say once they sit in them seats. They don't get to say that. You know, I went to the Capitol because I got cheated out of my race. You know, but they are quietly trying to deal with me. And I know why you quietly trying to deal with me. I know exactly why you quietly trying to deal with me. Because I'm not Demetria and I'm not Aubrey. So when you want to run your mouth, and these people here, let me tell you something. These people that want to be precinct chairs and election judges, they come from the neighborhoods. They come from the neighborhoods. They live in the precincts that they live in. And you are indulging in something that has stymied the growth of our neighborhood for over 40 years. And now you have a problem with it. You don't have a problem with the bill. You got a problem with the fact that there's jail time attached to the violations now.
Yep.
Let's tell the truth. You got a problem with the fact that if you did the same things in the next election that you did in the prior one, the elected official would go to jail. How is that suppression? So the Democrats are very good, some of them, at taking talking points and twisting them the way that they want to twist them. I don't need Brittany Ellis standing in no press conference telling me about integrity. I don't need Sylvester Turner telling me about integrity. I don't need Tasha Jackson representing integrity. None of these people have integrity. And they didn't have none when they ran the last time and they cheated. So guess what? I no longer argue with you. I affect your legislation now. And you ain't going to do a damn thing about it.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Now that this bill has gone into the floor for a vote, and Houston, and this is for the state, correct? This is the state vote.
Yes.
Whole state. So most likely it's going to pass with Republican voting thing. How is that going to affect the elections in Houston moving forward when the bill passes?
Demetria, or you want me to go?
I can take it.
Yeah, I got it. Well, first of all, let's talk about poll watchers, Donovan. Let's talk about poll watchers. They are saying we don't need anybody in the polls to watch over the voters. But in the last election, if we didn't have the poll watch at Northeast, we'd have never seen you with the 30 ID card sitting on the counter. No, you don't want us in there because of that reason. And all the bill is saying when it comes to poll watching, that you can't remove them unless there's a violation of the law. You just can't come and say, well, we want them removed. No, it doesn't work like that. They don't want you to monitor what's going on inside of the polling place. And we know the things that they're doing inside of the polling place. You see what I'm saying? They're saying, well, we expanded the vote through drive-through voting. Your vote is supposed to be sacred. How is your vote sacred if you're in a car with 5 other people? Your vote is not sacred. Now, as far as disabled people, we have to accommodate our disabled population. You know, we do curbside voting for disabled people and seniors. They'll bring the machines out to them. No, but they want straight drive-through. And the reason that it's getting shoved down their throats, because it's karma. Remember how y'all changed the laws in the middle of the election last year and you shoved it down their throats? Now you don't like it because now they shoving it back down yours, but they gonna change the laws on them, and they gonna end up going to jail if they violate.
Gotcha. So do you think that the Democratic Party, specifically in Houston, is mad at this bill because now they can't harvest ballots and they can't win elections that they need to win?
Yes.
No, they can't cheat.
It's gonna be hard for them to cheat.
That's what. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them to cheat because there's criminal penalties. At first in the bill, it was not. Like we always had electioneering. So they talking about, you can't have water. It's illegal to have water. But we always have this 100 feet marker. Like candidates can't go and, pass out their cards. We can't wear our shirt within a certain amount of feet, right? That's electioneering. So you just can't have that water. Like one of the candidates was passing out church's chicken, and say, remember me, as he was passing out church's chicken inside of the polling place, so with that being said, it's like you're almost buying votes at that time. So what this bill is doing is just, penalizing that. So you cannot electioneer. You can, water, but have your food, but electioneer is still the same. You put like this bill now is putting penalties in it. First is state jail felony, but I believe the Republican is going to reduce it down. I don't know if you know that, Gary, they're going to reduce it down to class A misdemeanor because the state secretary said the state jail felony offense wasn't going to have mens rea. It wasn't going to meet those requirements. So it's going to be reduced down to class A misdemeanor, which still you do up to 1 year in jail. So the Democrats do not, like Gary said earlier, they do not want the penalties. They didn't have penalties. I mean, you just have to go sue them. But now these are criminal penalties, and it does not target Black voters. It doesn't target Hispanic voters and any other voters. And so Arthur asked the question, what's it going to do for people? Arthur's going to get people like you, right people in office for you to really serve the public. So that's how it helps the people. And that's what I see what this bill is going to do is make sure whoever lose fairly, whoever wins fairly. But it's going to be up to the people, and nobody's going to be selected by the Democrats or selected by the Republicans. Even if Republicans run, let's say the elections period, they win to run the election, it applies to the Republicans too. So it applies to everybody across the board. So I think this bill is very important. I believe it's going to be historic, and Sheila Jackson Lee them know too. So they can't cheat their way around this time without a criminal penalty.
If Demetria, because everybody knows her now, if she was to run for something, I think Demetria would have a hell of a shot of winning under this bill because they wouldn't be able to cheat her. They wouldn't be able to cheat her. You see what I'm saying? It don't matter if you go get your pastors and all them people. You look at the number of people that didn't vote in the last election. Over 1 million people didn't vote in the last election that was local. If Demetria ran for something, she would have a fair shot. But with the way these people are doing the kingmaker thing, Donovan, where they get to pick who go in office, no, we ain't doing that no more.
Let me ask. But I got a few questions. So one, has there ever been any cheating on the Republican side in Texas ever?
I haven't been on the Republican side to even answer that question, but I can tell you, I haven't been but I can tell you this though. Stan Stanner was our election official before. He was a Republican. Cheating was happening under that watch too, but along with Democrats. So to me, it was a party line at that time. But wholeheartedly, I have not seen the party itself because I haven't been part of that party to see them, cheat. I'm not saying they don't, but I have not seen it. So I like to speak intelligently on that matter. If I know, if I don't know, I'm just going to say I don't know.
All right. So maybe Gary would know this. When that cheating took place, per that example, were the Republicans or anybody for that matter trying to change the voting process?
You asking me?
Whoever has.
Remember Stan Stanner? Did you run?
I will dignifyly answer your question. There's cheating on both sides of the ball. There's cheating on both sides of the ball. It ain't cheating if you don't get caught. The Democrats keep getting caught.
Stop right there.
No, let me finish. The Democrats keep getting caught. Now, if I'm living in my Democratic neighborhood and these people steadily getting caught, I really don't care as long as you take care of the neighborhood. But they cheating to get in, and then when they get in, it's the hell with the neighborhood. So when you go and you have a private conversation with them, look, Miss Couture, look, we got some issues down here, man. I know you're cheating, blah, 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 blah. Well, look here, Gary, we're going to work on it, and we're going to do this. And you go right back out there and do the same thing. Okay, I ain't going to keep talking to you. I'm going to go talk to some people that can change this shit.
So then my next question is, okay, so basically, I think we and everybody, most people in the comment section would agree that both sides cheat. It's just that the Democrats, if they did cheat, I believe they're cheating everywhere, but they cheated and they got the better of the Republicans and it swung in their favor due to this alleged cheating. All right. Now, true or false, and either one of y'all can answer this, the Republicans are now trying to figure out ways to hinder the voting process because their true or false, I'm just asking, let me finish. Their stronghold that they've had in the last 20 years is slipping away from them due to changing demographics. They're saying that people in the suburbs are now looking at the Democratic Party. There's also this rumor that people are moving from California. I actually did see an article today that there's an influx of Californians moving into Texas, and California is a majority blue state. And so they're saying too that people, the implants like myself, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, but moving in, maybe a Democrat, and they might swing politics here in Texas. And so it is said that maybe the Republican Party are trying to do what they can, like they are in Georgia, to make sure the voting process is hard. So is that a true or a false?
False.
Very, very false. Georgia's voting process, they all like to adopt, like the same uniformity. Again, the bill actually triggers when the polls close. Only time the bill actually triggers for we the people is when they have to send a copy of their driver license for absentee ballots. Other than that, they have to show ID like they normally have to show ID. So it actually triggers in entirety for that process after the polls close for the selected, elected, appointed official. So it holds that whole election process in terms of counting, tabulations, and all of that. It triggers then. So it does not hinder voters at all. And far as the strongholds go, I have no idea, but I have no doubt that it wasn't, with you, I wasn't cheating on both sides because Stan Stanley was a Republican, and I feel like I was cheated out my race then. In fact, I knew the two of my races understands that I sued him. So I know it happened. And he was a Republican, but I feel like they went on a party. They went together and agreed or something. They made some type of compromise. But for the Democrats, I think they said, hell with y'all Republicans. We got it now, and y'all ain't getting it back. I think I'm gonna say the last thing here. You can go ahead and speak. I think what happened with did away with the straight voting, and then the black base gonna slide one person in and everybody slide in. Since the Republicans did away with the straight ticket vote, here come COVID. COVID to me is a straight ticket voting. Send out those mail-in ballot to everybody else that's a form of straight ticket voting, and now they took it's a hostile takeover. So the Republican wrote the bill not just for Democrats but for themselves too. So it's a whole Texas bill. So neither party can cheat under the new bill that's about to be passed.
And I got Donovan. There's two more questions, really quick. While you guys were up there, did anybody say anything about what happened in February regarding the Texas freeze? Republicans being at the helm of Texas, and they decided to succeed from the federal government as far as the electricity board is concerned. Did anybody talk about that?
They didn't talk about it while we were up there.
Yeah, that wasn't that committee.
I'm deep into this thing, and I will tell you this, Mr. Abbott, Mr. What's the other one, Patrick? You will have opponents in the next election. They're not putting up with it. They're not happy that their families have to stay in the freeze. So the thing is they didn't talk about it then, but there's talk. So the way they deal with it, when they unhappy with their politicians, they put people up against them and get their asses up out of there. That's the plan.
Okay. And then my last question, and I know that not to really be true, but my last question is this. Now, one of the things that they're trying to do is change the way disabled people are allowed to vote. They basically have to prove that they can't make it to the polls. And I don't know how legal that is with the, the Disability Act and all of that. But to me, just kind of some of the stuff that I'm seeing in the what they want to do with the bill, it kind of punishes the voter opposed to the people who are cheating. So where is the legislation that says, if said politician or poll worker or whatever, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but where is it that says that they get punished and not the voter? Because if I'm disabled, the last thing I want to do is prove to you that I can't make it up to the poll. I mean, that is, voter suppression as far as I'm concerned.
In HB6, they have curbside assistance. I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of elderly people here, they want to make it to the polls. I hear them all the time. They rather come to the polls, but they do have curbside assistance.
We're not talking about elderly. We're talking about disabled. Elderly people. I mean, disabled people can be 18. So disabled in general.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen no restrictions for disabled. I don't even know if they even touch that side of the bill. Now, Georgia may have it, but I read Georgia bill, but I have seen no restriction in HB6, and I read the whole bill.
Yeah, I saw in there, they're saying that they want disabled people to prove that they can't make it to the poll. In fact, that's one of the major changes within that the bill that you guys are, I guess, for. And so that harms disabled people, I would think.
Did they specify how they have to prove it? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead,
Jerry. Jerry. No, I just want to ask Demetria, if you read that section, did they specify how they have to prove that? Because I'm sure they'll lay out, you got to prove by sending this, and that. Did they ask for any type of documentations that they have to see? Because I didn't see it. I'm just asking, maybe I looked over it.
I haven't seen it, but from what I used to be a personal banker, and I know, it is against the law to ask somebody, and really to any capacity if they're disabled and ask them to prove it. And so I'd imagine maybe they need to bring some medical documentation or something. I mean, how do you prove you're disabled without, violating the HIPAA Act and all of that? So I don't know. I'm assuming maybe you guys know because you guys were there.
I read the bill.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. They did touch on it, but I haven't seen that. Did you see it?
I read the bill.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
All 22 pages. That's not in there. People gonna put out what they want to put out. People gonna take bits and pieces of this bill. They gonna switch it the way they want. I read the bill. It's not in the bill. The thing is it can stay the same. Ain't shit gonna change. I guarantee you, if this bill does not go into law September 1st, I will lose my election. But if it goes into law, Demetria, I will pop the first bottle of champagne with you because they can't beat me. They know what they're doing. And if they don't like the laws changing, they should have stopped cheating a long time ago. They've been doing this for 10, 15 years.
Right.
And they got sloppy doing it.
And now they cry about it. Yep. It's a hostile takeover. That's what it's a takeover, but
well, let me just say this. If a candidate, and Demetria, you've run for office before, so you know that a candidate, when you run for office, you have a platform. And if your platform is better than the other person's platform, why would you even have to worry about cheating and all this other stuff? So for the pushback by the Democrats against this bill, why would they be against the bill if they know what they're selling to the people is what they're going to buy?
Because they have to have a reason. So they have to, the mass go to the polls to justify. If they type this election and enforcing criminal penalties, they have to have masses of people to go to the polls, and you see it all on the news, lines and lines to justify, numbers, to justify the cheating. If you only got a few hundred, how are you going to justify thousands So they have to justify, so they have to picture, they have to get us mad. We got to get out to the polls in the primaries to justify their way of cheating. And that's all it is. They don't care about nobody's platform because they got it. You don't even see them campaigning a lot. You don't see them spending a lot of money, putting signs out, phone banking, block walking. You don't see that because they know they got it in the bag. Let me just piss people off, black people off to the polls to justify this. We won this election. So that's why they do it.
Yeah,
for the Democrats.
And the funny thing that you say that is because here in California, we have a big problem with the Democratic Party and ballot harvesting. And these laws that are coming down, if you're for democracy and all this other stuff, one person, one vote, you shouldn't have a problem with IDs and all this other stuff because we know this stuff goes on. But let's say I am a Democrat. I know I am for the people. I know I am going to put in the work. I shouldn't even have a problem with any changes in regards to voter ID and all this other stuff. If there's voter suppression out there, and I know that my party's not cheating, I shouldn't be worried about it.
We're talking about talking points.
Correct. You can either have ID or voter card. Go ahead.
Janelle Dunn said, the mentally and physically disabled have to prove their disability. So disrespectful. They just played you. All they did was throw it. And without ever reading the bill, you automatically assume that it was inside of that bill. That's not in that goddamn bill.
I haven't seen it.
But they good at doing that. They're good at making you believe, ma'am.
Where can we find the bill? Because every article and stuff that I looked up in is saying back here says Senate Bill 7 also includes other forms of voter suppression. It requires that voters seek to use the disability exemption for voting by mail, provide documentary proof of their disability. That's what it says.
Ms. Demetria, let me take my hat off so you can see my beautiful bald head. Tonight, you talking about Senate Bill 6. You talking about HB 6 tonight.
We're talking about HB 7, HB 6.
It
HB 6.
said it said Senate Bill 7. I'm just telling you what I read.
Okay, well, maybe I'm just
you
wrong.
Can find a bill.
I'm talking about HB 6, the bill I stood in front and testified for. I ain't go there.
I didn't see that in the bill. So the SB, if you want to find
what I say is this here. No, what I say is this here because maybe it's just that time for me. I tell y'all what I'm gonna do. I'm in Minnesota. Fuck the great state of Texas. I'm sick of living around these cocksuckers where they fucking over my neighborhoods. They shitting on us. They don't do shit for us. Texas can kiss my ass. I no longer have to live under them fucked up laws. And if Negroes want to believe what these fucking people are saying, then we ain't gonna never get from point A to point B.
I say, I heard a lot of things in a press conference today that's going to be written up. Did he leave? It's going to be written up in an article. And I heard a lot of misinformation from those local leaders today, even from the mayor. And it's going to be, you're going to find that in the article. So with that being said, I think that I heard is not in the bill that they
Every last one of them people that stood on that stage today used the same team of ballot harvesters. Go look at their finance reports and tell me if you don't see their name on every last one of them. They used the same team that got kicked off of all the judges' campaigns last November. That go for the DA, that go for Sheila Jackson Lee, Rodney Ellis. They all use the same people. And if y'all don't like me calling out your name, I can come back to Texas one more time. Fuck Texas, man.
And this thing with the ID type situation, I mean, you got to have an ID to, even when you go to the doctor, you got to have an ID to drive a car. You got to have an ID to get your food stamps. I mean, so.
But guess what you don't need an ID for? Guess what you don't need an ID for, Donovan?
To vote.
See, we worrying about Californians coming to Texas. You don't need ID when you sneak across the border. That's who they doing it for.
Oh, you mean no? You mean to have no voter ID? Yeah, they need those masses of people too. So those are crises they create. But yeah, you can go to the Texas House of Representatives. You can just Google them. It's going to take you to the committees to election, and you'll find a SB 7 in there, and it'll pull up the bill. You can read the text of the bill, so you can see it from there. I read just a little bit of that. I was focused on 86, so that's what I can
mean
hear.
Cover up. Marcus Clay say, I can't stand the left. This is all a ploy to allow illegal immigrants to vote by using racism against black people as a talking point. Now, you know what's crazy? I hadn't even seen his comment before I said what I said about them people coming across the border. This is why Joe Biden is letting them come across the border.
Yeah, you know, and for those that don't know, here in California, it's a wrap for black people here in California. That's why you don't see as many black people in California anymore. Everybody's heading east because it is unaffordable. It is unsustainable. So yeah, with that influx of Californians going east, a lot of them ending up in Texas, the state is going to flip blue sooner or later. And unfortunately, you have a lot of folks coming in there that if you ask them, well, why are you a Democrat? Well, my daddy was a Democrat. My mama was a Democrat. My grandfather was a Democrat. And they just vote and they just vote and they just vote because here in California, the Democrats overwhelmingly cater to the illegal Hispanics. There are more laws on the books to protect illegal Hispanics' rights than there is a black man. Animals have more rights than a black man does here in California. So that's the way it looks. A lot of people don't want to believe that, but it's the truth.
So when are they going to vote on this bill, try to pass this bill? Like, where is it at now?
The bill will be passed on April 22nd, and I will be there the day the governor signs it, my last day in the state of Texas. We running around here with these gangsters from Harris County. And what they didn't realize is they ain't had a muscle on the floor to even deal with them people. So it's so bad, Gary Monroe or somebody like Gary Monroe, to have a relationship with a Republican. But Joe Biden saying he got to work on both sides of the fucking aisle. But if we do it, we sellouts, we everything under the sun. On the 22nd, the bill will become law. And when the governor signs it, it will be before the next election. And these people, if they violate the law, they go into jail.
Well, y'all know how I feel about it either way. I'm nonpartisan, and like I said, and I say it all the time, voting for black people, regardless if the vote is suppressed or not, is the equivalent of clicking your heels together 3 times and making a wish. Okay? It's all symbolism. It's all bullcocker until black people get themselves together. And that's why, really just like when I see it, in Georgia, Texas, wherever, I'm just like, I can have a V8 really, because it doesn't matter to us. We know they're bringing Hispanics across here in record numbers to get rid of black people. They're not coming to join us. They're not coming to form an alliance with us. They're coming to replace us. The same thing you hear about the Stop Asian Hate. They know that they need to also get Asians on their side, and black people are going to be obsolete. And we arguing and talking about sometimes the silliest stuff. And we are a permanent underclass. And so we could go into the booth. They say they don't suppress the vote. We can go in there, but what are we going to get? We could vote in record numbers. And we did in some places. When Obama came into office, we voted in record numbers. We don't have anything to show for it. We put, not me, because I didn't vote for him, Biden and Kamala in office, and record numbers as well. What do we get for it? Nothing. So if a Republican's in there or a Democrat is in there, black people are getting zero. We're getting some goose eggs because we're not on the same page. We argue about silly stuff sometimes. A lot of times we're just totally distracted. And yet, like I said, a vote is no more than a wish right now, honestly.
They voted in record numbers for Obama, and Acorn got caught cheating across the country. Voter fraud. They voted in record numbers for Biden and Harris. Acorn disbanded and came back as organizations like Texas Organizing Project. And they have several of them. They've been cheating and they've been cheating and they've been cheating, and we ain't getting nothing out the deal. What need to happen is they need to put all these politicians in a fucking bucket and blow that bitch up.
Wow, but you know what? You know what? Another thing too is the Republicans was cheating off in Georgia. Hell, even the president of the United States was over there.
Cheating. If they were cheating, you know what? If they were cheating, they don't represent me though.
At the point that I'm making,
the Negroes that's representing me are cheating, and I still ain't getting shit.
Even if the Negroes ain't cheating, we vote for them and expect for them to do nothing for us. That's why they keep getting in the office for 20, 30, 40 years and not delivering, because they know black people like symbolism. We sometimes just like a black face and a black ass in the seat, whether they're going to do anything for us or not. So whether they cheating or not, they still ain't moving the ball for black people. That's the discussion we need to have. That's when I will seriously be interested, to be honest with you.
Well, both parties still exist.
I think after tonight, we don't even need to talk politics no more. Matter of fact, I need all y'all addresses so I can send y'all all y'all money back. You don't need a real nigga in office. You don't need a soldier in office, because I'm not going to get in there unless I do it the right way. If I cheat, they're going to nail my ass to the cross. So why in the fuck should I do all this shit the right way? They need a sucker in there so they can shut the school system down so the crime rate can really go through the roof. But all the bitches need to be in a bucket.
We're not talking about you. He froze. See, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about people who really want to get in there and do something. We're talking about these people. As you guys say, I'm new to Texas. Sheila Jackson Lees. I know Maxine Waters, you know, in California, and all of our other Miss Leadership, as far as Negroes are concerned. We keep voting them in there. We know they're not going to do nothing. I'm not talking about you.
I want to answer Art Scales. Art, you say you calling out the Democrats like the Republicans are honest. I'm going to ask you a simple question, Art Scales. If you can't answer that question, you will no longer be my friend. Give me one motherfucking example of how they cheated. If you give me one example, I can give you 20 how the Democrats do it. Our people that represent us keep getting fucking caught. And what they're doing is they're stopping good politicians from getting in office that can help us and move that needle like Demetria is saying. I know a woman spent her whole fucking 401k to fight against a prominent politician, and he still stacked the deck on her. And we stuck with this with this fucking art off of Southern Boulevard. And this nigga ain't doing nothing for our side of town. And we gonna worship this cocksucker? Fuck Rodney Ellis.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to say this to Art, you know, and Art, you know, you're a great contributor, and we like having you on the show and everything like that. What we're calling out is a predominant area where Black people live, because predominantly Black people are Democrats. You can't call out Republicans that aren't there. These are Democrat-held areas that look like shit. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
And Al, let me put your comment up. Shame on her dumb ass who spent all of her soul. You just took me out the school board race. But shame on my dumb ass for wasting my motherfucking time to represent people that don't fucking get it. Give me your addresses so I can send you your fucking money back. I'm done.
Come on, Gary.
I'm done. I'm done. Because I'm going in with the same fucking fire. I'm not changing who I am. They cheated me. I beat Wanda Adams last time. I beat that ass, and I'll beat this motherfucker this time. But I got a fair shot this time if this bill passed than I would ever have if it doesn't pass.
And you know, and that's
you know
the thing.
How many politicians we done lost because these niggas picking who they want in office in Houston? And then when the motherfucking house get flooded from a hurricane, bitches won't even give you the money to fix it.
Well, let me ask you this, Gary. If you were a Republican and you have the passion that you have for your people, that's what I'm saying. We keep electing these Democrats. You look out your door and it looks like Beirut out there, but then you look at I'm not saying Republicans are better, but in my experience here in California, there is a stark difference in a Republican-controlled area versus a Democrat-controlled area, and there's not that many Republican areas in California.
Yeah,
you know. So
if I was a Republican running for school board, which is a nonpartisan race, you don't worry about Republican or Democrat. But say I was a Republican, I'm the same motherfucking Gary Monroe you grew up with. I'm the same Gary Monroe that's in the streets trying to stop these youngsters from killing themselves. And I'd be the same Gary Monroe that would say, well, since I'm a Republican, give me the same type of school that you got on the other side of town now. Give me the same type of shit in my school over here that you got on the other side of town now. I want the same public education. See, the Republican and Democrat shit got us fucked up with each other. But the Republicans and the Democrats, they're working with each other in Austin. They're working with each other in D.C. But they keep us at each other's throat.
Correct. I have a question. I mean, every time, what I've been seeing historically among our Black people, at least that's what they call it, is every time we bring up our own party, the faults of our own party, issues of what our own party, it deflect, but don't the Republicans do the same thing? But the Republicans do that too. And they wouldn't even touch the Republican Party. You wouldn't even go to a Republican meeting. You wouldn't participate in any Republican anything. But if always Republicans do it too, well, maybe you're assuming that, and like I did. But one of them, I said Stan Stanner, and he was a Republican. I feel like it was a combined effort. But what I'm tired of hearing is the deflect. The Republican Party do the same thing. You never step foot at a meeting of a Republican Party to even see their agenda. Probably don't even know what their mission statements are, their values are. So when we get ready to hold your own party accountable, you deflect and go somewhere else that you've never been and don't even desire to. That's a problem. It's like we don't hold our own selves accountable. And that's a major problem. Until we can fix that, we should not be talking about another party if you can't even hold your own accountable.
Well, Art Scales, it's been 5 minutes.
It's always a deflection.
What's the problem, Art? Art, you said that the Republicans cheat too. I asked you to give me one example. Give me a verified example of how they cheat.
You don't know.
Fuck what you heard. Show me the proof. Because when I stood in that room the other day, I'm rocking with proof in there, partner. I'm rocking with proof in there, man. That's what I'm talking about. Deflection is what's keeping us down. People, I'm going to be honest with you. If you can't understand what I'm saying, then I don't deserve to sit in office and represent you. Because I'm not representing your values. You want a motherfucker that's going to sit in office and bullshit you. You want somebody that's going to sit in office to take pictures with you. No, I'm a hard-working son of a bitch. And every day somebody tell me, man, you need to slow down. So that's the same effort I would give it now. But if them laws don't change, you keep my name on the ballot. I guarantee you I won't win. They'll cook them fucking books so fast, it'll hurt your heart. You think you had a motherfucking Sunday barbecue.
So like I said, I'm nonpartisan. I don't get involved in who, the blue or the red. And, I hear Black people fight over the political parties. It almost reminds me of the Crips and the Bloods, fighting over territory that we don't own. We don't have any ownership at all to either party, the bloc, or none of that. The Republicans or the Democrats give not a damn about Black people at all. As I said earlier, Malcolm called us political footballs because we just get kicked back and forth to either party who needs us. Umar called us political prostitutes. But as I said earlier, I disagree with that to some degree because at least prostitutes get something for the work that they do. So, we fighting over parties, what parties this, what parties that. Can we all agree that neither party has done anything for Black people to move the ball at all? Can we at least agree with that?
I can't agree with that because I don't know.
I mean, then the flip side is that, and I know Gary kind of going hard on art. He's asking a question, but what can we name anything that the Republican or the Democratic Party has done for Black people? We can name just one. What has the Democratic Party or the Republican Party done for Black people to help us say, hey, you know what? We're better off in America now because of this party. Name one on either side that's done something for Black people.
I would be glad to answer that question, but that's a question. I would be glad to answer that question, but that's a question. Asking a question. I will answer that question when somebody asks me what the fuck they doing, how they cheating. All these people sitting there watching, and ain't nobody saying shit. I live in Harris County where they put IDs on the motherfucking counter. I live in Harris County where they take voting machines and they bring them to Finnegan Park and don't know Art Smith is outside watching them bring these machines into that park that they ain't got no business in. I'm in Harris County where they leave votes in the machines in case they runoffs. They done got caught too many times.
Would you guys consider it cheating that the Republicans are in charge of Texas? Okay, and I'm trying to go somewhere here. They're in charge of Texas. They agreed to take the electric, whatever it is, off the grid and succeed from the federal government. Would you say that is cheating to have someone be faced with a $17,000 light bill due to no fault of their own, due to a surge in prices, due to a fault of their own?
I'd be glad to answer that for you. Let me turn my hat backwards because I think you got some hell of a ears on.
Yeah, I like to answer that too.
It's cheating. I believe it's fucked up, and that's the reason they finna run these motherfuckers against Abbott and motherfucking that Hot Wheels and they ain't cool with that shit. Their family was in the cold too.
I believe the Democrats with that. Because I see one person say you can assume, so let's assume. I believe the Democrats were behind that. I believe the Democrats were behind that so we can make Greg Abbott look bad so they can make the state turn blue. That's what I believe. Succeeding, I'm 100% for succeeding. Why do I want to be a part of a federal government? For what? You're independent. You are independent. Each state is independent. That's why they have their own constitution. That's why they have their own statutes and code. It is independent. The federal government is a sole separate part of the government. Each state have their own laws. And if the federal government continue to burden its citizens, why not pull out? Now, that's the electric company. It's not Greg Abbott himself increasing those bills. It's the electric companies who was doing that. But Greg Abbott, I seen him fight that. Now, that's in another election committee, another committee that they are fighting against to make sure that the bills do not rise high. So why not separate from the government? I don't care for it. Federal government, to me, I don't like what's going on from the White House, and they want to come and take the state's independence. No, I think it should stay independent. They don't want to get into these treaties.
I think the answer to answer your question, why not succeed from the federal government? Well, hell, we saw why in February where people died and people's houses were destroyed because their pipes froze and all of that. I think that I don't know what other reason we could come up better than that. But, they failed epically. There's and this is an old argument, but hell, there's places that get way colder than it did here in Texas, and they didn't have those issues. So I think that's a good reason why.
Well, to your point, if you look at it like that, it is a good reason why. But if the Democrats played that card, guess what? They won. If they played that card to make it look bad for the Republicans because it's a Republican red state, it's a red state, and they want to be blue, why not set Greg Abbott up? Why, it looks good. You feel like we shouldn't, succeed, because it looks good. Democrats want to good at four things: creating crisis, creating chaos, pandering, and propaganda. They are great at that. And we, the people, do not do enough research for what is the intent of anything that come out either on both sides. What is the intent? So I still believe before the ERCOT thing happened, after the ERCOT thing happened, succeed from the hell of Biden administration, succeed from the federal government. It shouldn't have to take a crisis to do it. Just get the hell away. Stand on your own ground. We have our own laws. We're independent. We can make our own money. Federal government should not come in.
Texas was under, up until January, under the tutelage of Trump. So, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, and trust me, I'm not a Biden supporter at all. I think he was a lot worse than Trump. But, the Texas, they had a Republican president, for what, a month before the Texas freeze happened. So I'm not seeing the correlation between that being Biden's fault.
Well, I'm not even blaming it on Biden. I believe it's the Democrats, period. I mean, they did a whole lot of stuff under Trump and blame it on Trump. I mean, the whole time he was in office, they blamed everything on Trump, no matter what. And everybody fell for it when it actually was the Democrats. So they are good at their game. They are really, I'm going to tell you one thing good. They are strong. They got a very strong people. When, what's his name? LBJ said he going to make Negroes be Democrats for the next 200 years. He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying, because Negroes going to believe everything that the Democrat good. They're going to believe they wear a halo. They're going to believe that they are God. They're going to believe they coming in to save the day. They're going to believe that. So 200 years, how many, it's been since 1964 that people been voting, black people been Democrat? We had 150 more years ago. He was not lying. Black people educate them own self. Read these bills, pull them out, look at these committees, see who author, who co-author, who signed yes, who signed no. Read for yourself. I'm not talking about election bill. I'm talking about period across the board. We need to be independent for ourselves and stop relying on all three branches of government. We have our own independence. The states have their own independence. Why do we to govern us? The last time I checked, the Declaration of Independence said that government derive their power from the consent of the governed. They get their power from us. So yes, if I say I don't be a part of you, I say hell no, I don't want to be a part of you, because that's a treaty. So why not? Well, we have to be independent. I don't need no mama and daddy to hold my hand.
Democrats been playing games since 1964. I heard them say today, Chris Holland said today, that, this makes the Voting Rights Act look horrible. This is a violation of the Voting Rights Act. Well, I got a problem with the Voting Rights Act. You got people coming over here right now that get the right to vote, and they got to renew it every 25 years. So your Voting Rights Act, you have to go in and vote and allow us to continue to vote every 25 years. So when you going to change that? Your Civil Rights Bill, Chris Hollins, how did that even get to Congress? The Republicans brought it to Congress. See, they want to trash the Republicans when they feel like they can trash them. But throughout the course of history, just go back and look. We've been fucked since we started dealing with these Democrats.
We've been fucked since we've been brought over here from the Middle Passage. And right now, black people arguing over who is the better master is like slaves arguing on the plantation.
Ain't nobody my master.
They are masters.
Ain't nobody my master.
Let me talk.
Ain't nobody my master.
Let me talk. I didn't say you. I said we. I said we are arguing over who is the better master to serve. They haven't served us. Y'all, we arguing about the Democrats did this and the Republicans did that. Who gives a good goddamn? They ain't did shit for black people.
Black people need to start doing something for their goddamn self.
Right, and that's what the conversation should be.
Exactly.
Hold on. We talking about two party predominantly ran by old white men that don't give a damn about your black ass. That's where we are with this. And I just talked to somebody not too long ago, said it was a drive-by in their neighborhood. We got bigger fish to fry than to be worried about these white folks who don't give a damn about black people. And we do sound like slaves, arguing about which plantation is going to give us the hotter butter biscuits. That's what we sound like.
And that's why I feel that I don't want to fuck with politics.
I think that's what we
black asses into the fucking school board office. I think black people need to take their asses in there and go fight them motherfucking demons. Because at the end of the day, we're going to have to start fighting somebody.
So that's what Right. Exactly. And I
We
said
gotta
we still have black and white, Asian, Hispanic all voting.
White people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and any aliens, anybody else who want to come over here is going to run laps around black people because we get caught up on the low-hanging fruit of which master is the better one to serve. Asians ain't doing that. In fact, they got the Democrats and the Republicans fighting over them, going up in there passing legislation because they put this false narrative on black people like we attacking Asians. Mexicans, you know, hell in Texas, the borders bust wide open. Ain't nobody saying nothing to them. But we as black people worrying about the wrong stuff. And they're all going to run circles around us while we say, oh, I don't know, but that's a better master. I don't know, the biscuits over there sound good to me, sir. No.
I'm a big ass nigga. Me, I'm going to eat all they biscuits then. I'm going to eat their biscuits and get them bitches to business.
We need to be concerned with making our own goddamn biscuits and stop worrying about who gonna do something for us. Neither one of them care about us. And I think we've seen that from since we've been over here. Not Nan party cares about black people because we are so distracted. We can't even stop sisters from running their asses up into the Asians' beauty supplies and spending our black dollars with them. We got a whole lot of fish to fry, and fighting over two old white men party is not something we should be focused on. And this is, to me, I've been that way for a long time. It's a waste of time to me. And if we're not gonna get together and put our heads together and figure out how to do for self as black people, it's just a conversation in vain.
Well, it's definitely not a conversation in vain for me. I need y'all to send me y'all addresses so I can send your money back.
Well, no,
send me your cash out.
I think
I'm not going up in no motherfucking school board. I'm not doing it. Fuck no, I'm not doing it.
No, you should continue. You should continue your run.
Shit, fuck a run. I'm not doing it.
They still
I'm not doing it.
I think you should continue to run. Well, so we argue who's the better slave master. I think we're talking about accountability. I think we're talking about self-education here. That's my take on that. It's not who's going to serve us. I mean, because black folks, white folks, everybody's still going to run to the poll every election, no matter what. So until they stop all that, then we can come back and say, you know what, we govern ourselves. But as long as they're going to run to the polls every year, we need to have these type of conversations no matter what. I know we focus on white men, black men, and all that, but people need to understand the very first civil rights bill was given by a white man. This grant, it was not given by a black man. So we'll look at that. We can't look at white Ulysses Grant. That was a very civil rights bill. It was passed under Ulysses Grant. That's a white man, okay? Republican Party was mostly white, and then the black. We was black too in that Republican Party. So that civil rights, hold for a moment. That civil rights bill, that act was passed by black people voting rights. They gave black people the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment. They abolished slavery. It was who did that. We keep talking about white men not doing anything for us. You really want to know what white men did? Abolished slavery. You know what white men did? Made us, give us the citizenship here to make sure that the Constitution, all of you know what white men did? Gave us the 15 minutes for black men to be able to vote. So I understand what we're doing, but we can't continue to sow a seed of division. And whoever don't want to hear me, do not have to hear me. I'm not talking about you all here, but I see them come here. At the end of the day, when are we going to come together? We still got to come together. No, I'm not talking about singing Kumbaya, anything like that. We still got to come together, and we have to take our own self-accountability. So why are we still talking about white man versus black man? Well, read the history. How did we get here? How did we break through change from human trafficking? It was a white man who did it, not nobody black, because we couldn't do it, because we was in chains, because we was muffled, because we couldn't read, because we couldn't talk. So white men helped us get to where we are today.
We not muffled no more. And fuck that Constitution.
Yeah, but the white men did that. The white men did that. It wasn't Martin Luther King. It was who did that. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. We must understand that they gave us the Bill of Rights. A white did it.
Whether you understand the
here today because of that.
whether you understand the
I
Constitution.
understand it to the fullest.
I'm saying whether you or anybody else understand the Constitution or not ain't got nothing to do with your black ass. And yes, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment.
Yes, they have everything to do with it because the 13th Amendment is in slavery. That's my black ass. That's my ancestor black. Abolish that. So yes, they have everything black ass.
Y'all really want some education? Stop looking for white people in their documents to
read the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Y'all want the education. Read for yourselves.
Can I speak, please? And I'll be quiet.
Read yourselves. That's it.
Educate yourself.
Okay, read for yourself. Y'all want education? Read for yourselves.
Oh, Jesus. We got all these scholars, and I got a lot of books. All these scholars that are teaching us about our black selves, and we still talking about the goddamn Constitution.
Correct.
The Constitution.
Correct. The goddamn Constitutions.
It was not.
It was around 1868. Yes.
All right. Yes. You know what, you guys? I'm gonna tell y'all.
So read for them. You don't be your own scholar. Be your own scholar. Read for them.
I'm gonna see y'all later because I don't do all of that. You guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow on the War Zone.
Well, you started.
Have a great time.
I will say this here, y'all have lost me. I'm done. I need your addresses so I can send your money back. I will not represent people that don't get it. I'm not doing it. I'm done. I'm done.
Stay in the race.
And that's on my dead mama. I will not represent people that don't get it. I'm done.
They don't want to get it. D Moore, I let her talk. I couldn't talk for a long time. So don't tell me to shut up.
Okay, well.
You guys go out. You vote the way that you choose to. When somebody run up in your goddamn house and bust your ass, make sure you know who to thank for it. When your children have schools that are not doing well, make sure you know who to thank for it. You understand what I'm saying? When gentrification takes over your community and you can't seem to understand how it happened so fast, you feel me? Know who to thank for it. These people are cheating, and that's what it is. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to help. You niggas want to continue to be free niggas. I need to be a free nigga. And I just freed myself tonight.
So now you guys understand why we call it the war zone. We have differences of opinions, which is okay to have. And, you know, who's right, who's wrong, that's all depends on people's interpretation.
I mean, to me,
So,
free nigga. And I just freed myself tonight.
Yeah.
Ron, I don't know why you said I was disrespectful.
I understand why we call it the war zone.
Right.
We have differences of opinions.
Correct.
It's okay to have. And, you know, who's right, who's wrong, that's all depends on people's interpretation.
Yeah, and I was invited to the show.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Thank you, Art.
Oh, so there we go. So in a nutshell, so in a nutshell, everybody, this is why we, as Black people, we have to get together and we have to exchange ideas and actually talk and listen. Sometimes you might have to talk more. Sometimes you might have to listen. We're not always going to agree, but there is one thing that we do know that is true. If you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book. Demetria is right. You need to read.
Correct.
You need to do your research. Your interpretation might be different, but the point is you will never know for yourself unless you read it.
That's all. And I'm not trying to be bigger or better. I just want to clear this. I'm not trying to be bigger or better than anybody. But my goal is to make sure that everybody research their information for themselves. You can be your own scholar. You can be your own expert. I don't feel like I was rude and disrespectful. Maybe my voice is a little bit aggressive, but I think you all know I sat through the whole show. I waited. And then when it was time for me to eat, I was the one that was interrupted. I wasn't finished, but I allowed everybody to finish. So I don't feel like I came to disrespect anyone. I wasn't trying to, didn't intend to, never intend to do that. So I don't understand the personalities when I speak the truth. I don't feel, and I don't never feel I'm above anyone. If I have information, I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna tell you where you go find it, and you go look for it for yourself. But I'm not that person that's gonna sit up here and think I'm better than anybody, because I'm not. I'm not above anyone. Thank you.
I think that y'all go read the bill. If you don't read it, fuck you. Listen to what I just told you.
Just like
Go read the bill. If you don't read it, fuck you. Because we ended up arguing about two different bills. The bill we testified on was House Bill 6, not 7.
Correct.
So my thing is this here. You need to go read the bill. If you don't read the bill, fuck you. You really think them people going to bat because they give a fuck about somebody being suppressed? No, they trying to stay in office. That's what they trying to do. But we got to pick and choose our battles. I've decided I don't want to battle for your children anymore. Now let's see who you can find that's better than me. I don't want to battle. And that's what it is. Y'all have a great night, man. I'll holler at y'all.